song was by a band called Rainer Maria. They're pretty neat. This song's by me. Under that oak tree when I was finally set free of all the burdens in your life. You thought you had the right to watch the birds fly and criticize by and by the meaning of their song. They just kept along. Locked in the town squares where I became of the power of your verse. And you said you had heard that I had a voice too, and it had moved you to take a good look around and be fearless of the crowd. And you said I was guaranteed to get my heart broken. Under that oak tree when I grabbed you by the sleeve and choked on all my thoughts, you just turned and walked off. Song. Sadness finds its way onto me, down any given day. I just end up feeling guilty. I don't know how many times I've told you, I don't know how I ended up this way. It's as if sometimes I've just halted. I've stopped dead in my tracks. Life, it seems to cover me. It's in these moments that I feel trapped. So I claim freedom. So I claim my freedom. claim love at all. So I claim freedom. So I claim freedom. Take this brain out and hang it on the line. Take this chair out back and burn it. 'Cause I can't get any work done from in here. Now this hole I've dug myself in has got me buried up to helpless. And I'd like to call you a liar. That's what you like to call me. And I'd like to call you a liar. That's what you always call me. So I claim my freedom. So I claim freedom.
Thank you, Jamie. That was great. Good evening, everybody, and I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. I know it's a little chilly out, but we'd like to welcome you to this year's Take Back the Night. Thank you, everyone, for coming and showing your support. I'm Jen, and this is Shelly, and we're the co-chairs of the rally committee for Take Back the Night this year. And we also are... Thank you. We also are volunteers at the Women's Center, and for those of you who don't know, the Women's Center, housed on the university campus, is a grassroots feminist organization, and it's a starting place for feminist activism. We provide women with an opportunity for practicing and learning activism skills on issues of importance to women. The Women's Center also assists female students in achieving their academic and career goals. Before I begin, I'd like to take a minute to let everyone know that there are marshals walking around handing out armbands for you to wear in support of victims of violence. And the blue armbands are for supporters and the purple are for survivors. And the marshals can also answer any questions you have this evening about the events tonight. And for those of you in need of restrooms or a warm place to relax, the Black Dog Cafe right across the street to my left is open, and a little later on this evening, Bagels on Broadway will be open, and there'll be music later on. Tonight, survivors of sexual violence and their supporters have come together to raise awareness and protest violence against women. This year's Take Back the Night theme is Communities Prevent Violence, Trusting Our Roots to Help Us Grow. This theme was chosen to celebrate and educate the community we live in. We believe that when the community is actively united against violence, it becomes a safer place in which to live. This past week of events has really been amazing. We'd like to thank everyone for participating. Thank you to the EMTs and those of you who donated goods and services for Take Back the Night. Thank you to Student Assault Recovery Services, the YWCA, Montana Transport Company, Jen Gibson and Crime Victims Advocates, Peers Reaching Out, WHEEL, the Women's Rugby Team, and the Silent and Local Witness Program for helping to organize all of the events. Thank you very much. Thank you to Ron and MCAD for filming this year's rally and march, and thank you so much for Brandy for interpreting for us this evening. And a special thanks to all the wonderful volunteers at the Women's Center who helped organize Take Back This Night this year. Take Back This Night, sorry, the night this year. We truly appreciate everyone's hard work. We are here tonight to show our continued commitment to keeping women safe in Missoula. We hope that through the words and actions of this evening's presenters and performers, that you will walk away with a renewed sense of community. We hope that you will leave here tonight with confidence in the fact that you live in a community that is here to support you. Thank you.
A woman is assaulted in America every 9 seconds. And in recognition of this, in recognition of all the women who will be assaulted tonight, the beat of the drum will be heard every 9 seconds. At this time, I would like to introduce Jen Ewell from STARS. She is the coordinator, and she's going to give you a little information about her organization as well as the Safe Tent. Thanks. Welcome, Jen.
Thanks, Shelley. And thank all of you for coming tonight. It's great to see such a crowd. So I have the privilege of coordinating a program called the Student Assault Recovery Service at the University of Montana. And SARS basically is a safe and confidential resource center for survivors and of sexual and relationship violence and lots of other crimes. And also, I wanted to let you know that the way in which we run our services is through a peer counseling model. And that means that I get to work with a lot of wonderful volunteers, many of whom are here this evening. And we have sort of relocated our services here to the Safe Tent that you see to my right. And you can identify it by the big yellow sign that's on the side of the tent. And we would like for you to feel free to visit our tent, especially if at any time this evening you are feeling emotional, if there's anything that comes up for you, if you just need someone to talk to, an ear, that's what we're here for. And we'd be happy to provide you with emotional support and any kind of information or referrals you might need. And in addition, you know, if you want some cookies or anything like that, you'll also find that over there. And since I'm up here, I thought I'd say a few more words. I'm really excited about our theme this year. I think that one of the most important things we can do in the women's movement is to try and include as much of the rest of the population as possible. And uniting the community is a really important task. And I think one of the parts of that perhaps I've been noticing lately that needs attention is that I think that we need to bring more men into the movement. If you look around you, I think you'll notice there are men here, and I appreciate that, probably more than there were a few years ago. Yeah. But what I have to say is that it's not enough. We need more than half the population to stop this problem. And I would encourage you to go home and to talk to the men in your family, and your friends, and the men that you know, and tell them a little bit about your experience, and tell them about this problem, and encourage them to talk to their friends. Because I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but I can guarantee you that it's not as effective as men talking to men about this problem. So, that's my brief little message for this evening. And thank you all so much for coming. I think this is important. It's going to take this and a lot more of us standing up together to stop the problem. And this is where we start. So, welcome to Take Back the Night.
Thanks, Jen. Our next speaker is Naomi DeMarinis, and Naomi is currently the Go Naomi. Naomi is currently the multicultural coordinator at the Missoula YWCA and holds a master's degree in anthropology from the University of Montana. She is on the board of directors for WHEEL and has been working with battered women since 1991. Naomi?
Freezing and I'm really nervous, so if I suddenly faint, I assure you it's not meant to be dramatic. An experience actually happened to me this week that I wanted to share before I got to my story. I'm actually speaking about poverty and domestic violence tonight. But briefly before that, I just wanted to say Last week, as a part of YWCA's Week Without Violence, I wrote a guest editorial in the Missoulian, and it talked about the violence that women continue to face on a daily basis, even as there are multiple crises around the world, including the war in Afghanistan. I received, as a result of that letter, a 5-page response. And I'm not going to tell you everything this fellow said to me, and I'm going to wait for this guy to go past. Okay. But one of the things, many things he said struck me, and one of the most amazing things he said was that PMS causes domestic violence. So thank you for setting us straight. Okay, so now I'll get to what I'm really here to talk about. Poverty and domestic violence. And they seem like two very different topics. What does poverty have to do with violence against women? And I'll give you a few statistics in a moment, but right now I just want to start by telling you a story. Imagine that you're a young woman, which probably isn't too hard because I think there's a lot of young women here tonight. And you're married. You married somebody really great guy. You had a big wedding and your parents think he's just terrific. He has a good job and you don't even have to work, and in fact, he doesn't want you to work. He wants you to stay home. Things seem really great, and after a while, the honeymoon starts to fade. Maybe you have a couple kids and money starts to get tight. Maybe he starts calling you names and teasing you about your weight or your hair, the way you walk or you talk. Maybe he thinks it's funny, and sometimes you laugh. It's only a joke. Then one Saturday you have a fight. Things get out of control, and he pushes you down. He's sorry right away, and you forgive him. After all, he didn't mean to do it. But the fights happen more and more often, and so do his accidents. Sometimes he pushes, other times he slaps. More and more often, the kids see it. You can hear them crying in their rooms, but you think, as long as he's not hurting the children, I'll stay. The kids need their father, after all. So this goes on for a couple of years, until one day you decide that you've had enough beatings, enough name-calling, and you realize that even if he's not hitting the children, he's still hurting them. You can see that in their eyes. So you come up with a plan to leave. You have no money of your own, but you know there's a local women's shelter and you don't need money to stay there. So one day while he's at work, you keep the kids home from school and you call the crisis line. Once you're at the shelter, you feel on edge, you feel out of place. There are people everywhere, crying children and strange advocates who keep asking you to tell them your story. You don't want to tell them your story, you just want to sleep. And the advocates are really pretty nice. They'll let you do that. So you go to the room you'll share with your children and get them tucked in for the night, and you think you're going to be able to sleep. Your children seem relaxed enough, the house is quieting down, but you sit on the bed and stare at your kids and think, how will I feed them? How will you feed them? You're now a single mom with 2 kids, kids who need clothes, school supplies, haircuts, food, and shelter. How will you feed yourself? Not only are you a single mom, but you're a single mom in Montana. You'll earn 58 cents on the dollar for every dollar your husband makes. You'll take a job selling pretzels because you have no work experience, and you'll try to catch the bus to all your appointments with your caseworker at the welfare office. If you miss 1 or 2, you'll lose your benefits. And then what will you do? Already, your kids' grades are suffering. They're home alone most of the time because you can't afford an after-school program. They look sad and get themselves into trouble. One day, out of desperation, you buy them bikes at a rummage sale. They have been wanting bikes so badly, so you saved the change you got from your food stamps for 4 months until you found a couple of old, used bikes you could afford. And when you give them the bikes, you realize that you hadn't noticed that they were too small and your kids can't ride them. You see their fallen faces and start crying yourself. This isn't working, you think. You could still go home. Your husband says he wants you back, that he's changed. So you go home. The kids are happy, your husband's happy, and then you start the whole thing over again. And every day you have to choose between eating and safety. Which would you choose? Now I'd just like to finish with sharing a few statistics with you. 90% of the people on welfare are women and children. An average of 1 in 4 women will find themselves in an abusive relationship at some time in her life. Studies suggest that many women on welfare are in or are fleeing violent relationships. These women have to choose every day whether or not they and their children will eat or be safe. So, what does poverty have to do with domestic violence? Poverty is violence itself, distilled to its purest form. It takes away choices and can rob you of your dignity. It has been said that poverty is the single biggest factor that keeps women in violent relationships. And it is my conviction that while there is poverty, there will always be violence against women. Thank you. I didn't faint.
I might flirt with you at the bar, but that doesn't mean I want sex.
I am not dressed like this to get laid.
What I deserve is respect for my body, my heart, and my own desires.
I'm not asking for anything. No one asked to be raped.
I like the short skirt, but I don't like you. This is not an invitation to rape me.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you, Naomi. Our next speaker tonight is Deborah Erling. She is a member of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes Flathead Reservation, and she's also an associate professor of English and creative writing at the University of Montana. Please welcome Deborah.
Good evening. I really didn't want to read tonight. I didn't want to read this story because I guess it's my own story. And there's a shame that comes from being powerless, from being in a violent and abusive relationship. But I think the stories that we tell others empower us. So I will read a little bit of this story tonight, if I can find it. She remembered Baptiste had closed the kitchen door and had fisted the hook to latch it. She heard the low rumble of Harvey Stoner's car leaving. Even Harvey Stoner could not save her. She said nothing to Baptiste. She knew there was nothing for her to say. In her grandmother's house, she could hear the hard lung pull of Baptiste's breath. She stood still, hoping her stillness was a remedy for the tremors that heaved Baptiste. She felt the blunt darkness of the room, the coffee pot dulled by fire, the round lip of the sink, the small, thick scissors her sister used to cut catalog paper dolls. Baptiste cracked his hand to the crown of her skull with a heat that resembled comfort. She saw a crackle of light falling to her knees. She saw the ink pen cross and then her name on Baptiste's brown hands. She was able to bite him hard enough to taste the liquor of his blood. When Baptiste kicked her wrist, she realized she was still holding the beer Stoner had given her. She heard the splat of gold as beer bubbled out of the bottle, arching over Baptiste, striking him, splatting on the floor around him like sour light. Baptiste was drunk to falling, his eyes smoke-hazed, hard squinting, fixed on her as if she were a distant object. She saw Baptiste holding the broken bottle by the neck, lifting and jabbing, weaving, mean. A crazy stillness settled in her thinking. She remembered a barn boxing match she had once witnessed in Dixon. It was so dark in the barn, they had surrounded the boxers with their trucks to light the event. The stark headlamps had made the boxers seem like movie stars to her, the skin of the men so white in the white lights, their whole bodies haloed a soft light. The boxers had held each other's keen stares with a tenderness like love. Even when they were pulled apart, they did not break their gaze. There was a silence she had not known before, a humid silence so heavy the only sound she had heard was the sound of the boxer's heavy fists hissing at all of them. And when one boxer fell to the floor, she had witnessed the brutal ache of his sweat shimmering above his head. She had reached up to the sink. She had pulled herself up and had turned toward Baptiste to back out of the room when he lunged at her. She felt a dull ache in her chest. The beer-splattered floor shined like the eyes of 10,000 snakes. A red sleep whispered to Louise, soles of hard shoes on slick floors, her dead mother's hair in the jar by the juniper. She wasn't sure how long she lay on the floor listening to Baptiste's lung-hissing sobs. She had told her grandmother to shut Baptiste up. Stop, Baptiste, she had said. Then her sister Florence had grabbed her hand, had told her Baptiste was gone, had been gone for hours. You can stop crying now, her sister had said. Baptiste won't hurt you. Louise remembered the floor grit on her cheek, the new crack in her head where the wind howled now. She began to feel the weak flesh of her tender head. It was sore and wet. She tried to get up, but her left leg was asleep. She could see the boot mark, the swollen blood blue egg on her shin. Her left side felt heavy and oddly weak. She had the sensation that her breast was being pinched hard. I'll stop there because stories of violence are our stories of survival, but our stories of survival are the stories when we get up off the floor, when we walk away, when we stand with dignity. We are women together, and in this world we are not a small community anymore. We are united with all women who suffer, all women who have been persecuted, all women who are poor, who have not lost their dignity, and who will not lose their dignity. We unite tonight to take back not only the night, but take back our days, to remember that violence surrounds us, but we can walk in this world in peace. There is a favorite saying that I have that comes from an old hymn. Lord, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, for those very powerful words. Our next speaker is a poet, Andrea. Andrea Shipley is an activist and a graduate at the University of Montana. She holds a bachelor's degree in English and worked as staff at the Women's Center while she was a student. Andrea?
Good evening. It's an honor to be with all of you tonight, and I thank you for being courageous and wonderful enough to be here. I'm going to read a poem tonight. We must be some angry bitches. We must be some angry bitches to be out here complaining about community stitches, the way the needle goes in and out, creating a quilt without consent, showing no warmth to manipulators, perpetrators, forced entry masturbators. We must be some angry bitches to dress as we please, use this quilt to cover our knees, warm the holes in the fishnet so we don't freeze, so we don't have to hear the pleas. We must be some angry bitches. We must be some angry bitches to drink in bars and get hit on, get phone numbers and want nothing at all, a tease, a femme fatale, silly bitch don't want it all. We must be some angry bitches to stand out here, genderless, without fear, to make a quilt out of anger, shame, and silence, to stand up and say, we didn't ask for the violence, the late night calls, watching through bedroom walls, swerving to lose your car, sleeping pills so we aren't awake in the dark. Grab the quilt and stitch your history, share the fear and the glory of a movement to end this silence, turning falling leaves on trees back into buds of golden seeds, watching over these seas of angry bitches. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. You are always amazing. Our next speaker tonight is Tracy Lakatua. She is a Minnesota native who moved to Missoula in 1998. She was part of the original Silent Witness National Initiative, which was founded in Minneapolis in 1990. In Missoula, she helped found the Montana Silent Witness Initiative, and she is the mother of a 3-year-old son, and she works as a volunteer coordinator for the Silent Witness Missoula exhibit. She's currently the vice president of the YWCA Board of Directors, and she has degrees in journalism and political science. Please welcome Tracy.
Thank you. I'll try not to shiver too much. The Silent Witnesses originated in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1990 as an exhibit created by a group of artists, writers, and poets that called themselves the Minnesota Arts Action Against Domestic Violence. This group conceptualized and designed the first exhibit of 27 life-size red figures, each representing a woman who once lived, worked, had neighbors, friends, family, children, whose life ended violently at the hands of a husband or partner. Today, 10 years later, there are silent witness exhibits in every state and several foreign countries. Silent Witness International, based in Minneapolis, is committed to healing, peace, and action, and to ending all domestic homicides in this state by the year 2010. We look to do this with several approaches. We are promoting more effective treatment and therapy programs for both abusers and survivors. We advocate for coordinated community response and accountability programs with law enforcement and the justice system and within families' circles of support. We promote parenting programs that address how to raise nonviolent sons. We believe violence can be deconstructed and understood by examining how our culture teaches boys to be men and girls to be women. And we support innovative curricula that teaches our young people to recognize how their social structures and emotional pressures can lead to violent relationships. Our community's Silent Witness exhibit debuts here tonight. This is a project of the Missoula Family Violence Council. It honors the Missoula area women who, since 1990, have died as a result of domestic violence. So we work to bring the peace home, to heal the wounds of abuse, to break the silence for those who have died and for those who are still in danger, to love without fear. Tonight, you will meet one of our women who lost her life to domestic violence. You will hear how she lived and how she died. You will see the space that she once took up. And you will see the hard work that is ahead of us all. Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work, Tracy. We're really excited to have our next speaker here with us this evening. Her name is Reverend Denise Rogers, and she's been living in Bozeman, Montana for the past 9 years. Before that, she spent her time in New York City. She is the pastor of St. Paul Community and AME Church, and she's also the chaplain for the Mountain View Care Center. She's the executive director of Montana Hate Free Zone, which is an international human rights organization. She's the recipient of the Women of Courage Award from the Montana Women's Lobby Fund, and she has also received the American Hero Award from the National Arthritis Association. Thank you, Denise. Welcome.
Good evening. Before I read my speech, I would like to dedicate this evening, if I may, to my mother, Louise. Hello, Missoula. I love you. And I want to begin by thanking all of you for being here tonight and allowing me to tell my story. I also want to especially thank the sign language interpreter for interpreting for me, because it is important for us to know that violence against women and children does not discriminate. It is not based on color, disability, religion, or age. We're going to make a loud noise here tonight, and it will be the sound of marching feet. It'll be the sound of a multitude of beating hearts. It will be the sound of unity. Violence against women and children often goes unreported. Violence against women takes place in the dark. Violence against women is done in such a way that it keeps women silent. So tonight we're going to be loud. We're going to be bold. And we're going to say we will not allow violence in this town. We will not allow violence against women in this town. We have all heard that African proverb that says, it takes a whole village to raise a child. And tonight we're going to use that idea behind that proverb to say, it takes a whole town to protect women and children against violence. So tonight, as we come together in this community, we may be marching past a house where someone is experiencing domestic violence. As you walk, someone may be getting beat, incest, or raped. These are not pleasant thoughts, but nonetheless, they are the reality. You will be marching for those who have been harmed. You will also be marching against violence and to prevent violence. March on, my sisters and brothers. March on, for we have the victory. I would be remiss if I did not address what happened on September 11th. I am an ex-New Yorker. I moved to Montana from New York 9 years ago, and I am 100% Montana. And I assure you that I am, because I have elk meat in my freezer. But my heart aches for those who've lost loved ones and friends. The holiday this year for New Yorkers will be difficult. They need our prayers, and they need our financial support. We now have anthrax scares. And again, our country is in the grips of an unknown act of terrorism. We do not know what's going to happen next, and from that uncertainty comes fear and the trauma of victimization. It is important that tonight we all understand that acts against women are acts of terrorism. Women and children are murdered, beat up, and their lives are changed forever. Those that live are terrified to leave their homes. Some become homeless. Some can't work. Some mutilate themselves to deal with the horrific acts that they have endured. We are here tonight to participate in a rally against domestic acts of terrorism that are occurring daily against women. Our president has appointed a director of Homeland Security to combat atrocious acts of terrorism, anthrax, and planes used as bombs against the American people. But Missoula, Bozeman, Butte, Kalispell, Billings, Helena, Dillon, Drummond, and every town in the state, we must have a director of home defense that will deal with the acts of terrorism that's being perpetuated against women and children in their own homes and in their towns. We must not be silent, and we must be vigilant against all acts of violence perpetuated against women and children. At the beginning of my speech, I thanked you for letting me tell my story. And I want to share a little about my experience with domestic violence. I am an incest survivor and a rape survivor. I grew up in a home where my mother was physically battered. I was born in 1952. And for those of you trying to figure out my age, I'm 49. My mother was 21 years old when I was born, and 11 months later, my brother was born. My father was 42, and my mother was his third wife. My mother was battered for many years, and at the age of 28, she committed suicide by jumping into Lake Erie in Cleveland, Ohio. We found out later that all of my father's wives had committed suicide. When my mother died, all the rage and the anger was directed towards my brother and myself. I got the brunt of that rage. I purposely have not quoted statistics, for I wanted you to hear my story. As I am speaking, there are those of you who personally know my story, for you too have grown up with an alcoholic father. They too have been incest or rape. There are survivors here tonight, and I salute you with love. My hope is that my story will say to those who've been silent, you are not alone. You are not alone. My father was an alcoholic. Alcoholism is a disease. I've forgiven my father, for I am a Christian, and I'm called to forgive. But I want to make it very, very clear that God does not want women to be beaten or killed into submission. Too often the Bible has been used to condone the mistreatment of women, and that is not the intent of God. To the contrary, the Bible tells us to take care of women, the widows, and the children. My father told me I was ugly, stupid. He wished that I was dead, and I heard this drunken litany every day that he was alive. Couple this with acts of violence. I spent my childhood literally fighting for my life. No child should have to live that way, and no woman should ever feel the only recourse she has is to take her own life. The years of physical abuse also took its toll on my brother. And at the age of 23, he too killed himself by jumping into Lake Erie, as my mother had. I am here tonight as a survivor, but I'm also here to tell you that my life is filled with joy. I have gone after every dream that I've ever had, and I am still going strong. Every human being has the right to live without violence in their lives. Tonight, make a loud noise. Tonight, begin to beat the drum of justice. Beat the drum of acceptance. Beat the drum of support for all victims. But most of all, let your hands only beat a drum and not a woman. Thank you.
Wow, Denise, thank you so much. You're an inspiration to us all. That was wonderful. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of the speakers again and the organizers of this evening, the volunteers and the performers. And I'd also like to note that soon, after the march across at Bagels on Broadway across the street, they'll be open from around 8:30 to 11 tonight for those of you who might need to take a break, and there'll be some jazz music by Carla Green and some hot cocoa to warm you up. Thank you.
Please welcome, finally, Lori and Thea, who will be giving you information about the rest of this evening's events, which are the march and the Speak Out. And thank you all again for coming.
Thank you.
Hi. I just want to let you all know that right after the march, we're going to have the Speak Out right here on the courthouse lawn. And the Speak Out is a time for women to share their stories as survivors. We ask that only women speak out, but men are invited to listen. We will also have a small fire where you can write something on a piece of paper and burn what you feel you need to release or banish or heal tonight. And both women and men are invited to participate in that. And bring a blanket or put on an extra layer because it's going to be colder then than it is now. Hope to see you there. Thanks.
What follows now is the march. I'm really excited about the space that we have claimed here on the courthouse lawn. What we're going to do now is take it to the streets. A march is someplace that we can scream or we can holler, or we could walk in support, we could hold hands. Chants are being passed out by the marshals. Those are the pretty ladies in the white Rosie the Riveter t-shirts. If you need one, let somebody know. We are going to march down Ryman and hook it over to Higgins and back up Higgins, and then we'll meet back here at the courthouse lawn, and then Speak Out will continue.
Thank you again, everyone, and get pumped up for the march. They'll be going around and handing out the maps, and we hope to see you back here for the Speak Out. Thanks.
Survivors, unite! Take back the night! 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 Survivors, we have the power! We have the right! The streets are ours! Take back the night! We have the power! We have the right! The streets are ours! Take back the night! We have the power! The streets are ours! Take back the night! We have the power! We have the right! The streets are ours! Take back the night! Take back the night! The time is here! We will not be controlled by fear! Take back the night! The time is here! We will not be controlled by fear! Take back the night! The time is here! We will not be controlled by fear! Take back the night! The time is here! We will not be controlled by fear! 1, 2, 3, go. Working? Yeah. You want him to go faster? Yeah. Okay. Go a little faster. Okay. Join together! Free our lives! We will not be victimized! Join together! Free our lives! We will not be victimized! Join together! Free our lives! We will not be victimized! Join together! Free our lives! We will not be victimized! No more beating! No more violence! No more hate! No more silence! No sexist, racist, anti-gay. Sexist, racist, anti-gay. You can't take our night away. Sexist, racist, anti-gay. You can't take our night away. Sexist, racist, anti-gay. Join together, free our lives. We will not be victimized. Join together, free our lives. We will not be victimized. Join together, free our lives. We will not be victimized.
I missed it. It's okay. Damn it. You sit next to me. The moon. It is Tom's truck.